We have Cabbage. We also have Fire Lord Azula, 4 mana 4/4. Fire Bending 2, not Fire Breathing 2. Whenever you cast anything while in combat with this thing, you copy it. So creatures with flash, or just anything with flash, is interesting. Instants are the first thing that would come to mind. And as you can imagine, that is insanely scary. If this ever swings, it is... The floodgates are open for you to do a whole bunch of nonsense. I mean, you can cast 2 Snapcaster Mages, and then both Snapcaster Mages cast 2 spells, because it isn't the first spell, it's any spell. This is crazy. The only downside is it's not Tifa, so it's twice as slow to get into play, and demands that you have something that isn't simply lands. So Tifa is kind of just better than this in my opinion, every conceivable way. It's also green, and has that benefit as well. But this is very cool, and when you swing with it, unlike Tifa, I suppose, you have a lot more mana, so you can... Because it costs 4, so you can have something go about that. It doesn't protect itself. It would have been nice to have maybe Ward 2 or anything like that. I suspect this will die always. Protection spells, counter spells are kind of neat. With this, I think you can double the protection spells, which doesn't really do that much. Counter spells are a bit expensive when you're trying to play a 4-drop on curve. I mean, you can't leave them up, really. So this is like... That's just the main issue, is actually swinging with this. But once you swing with it, it's pretty good. I would say it's really good. I'm running a ton of instants, a boatload of removal, counter spells, any funny thing that seems interesting to do inside of combat. No real combat tricks, though. I mean, there's like Teamer Battle Rage and some giant growth shenanigans. I just don't think the damage side of this is something I should go heavy into, because, again, you have to actually swing with it and ideally kill your opponent with it in some damage-based way. It just seems very difficult to do that. It seems extremely difficult to do that. So, I don't know. We'll see, though. Bribery's in here because so far, every time I've cast it, it has won the game. I don't think there's anything notable. A Frantic Search untaps 6 lands in combat. That's pretty cool. This thing is just funny. It has flash, getting 2 of them, heisting 4 times, and then they take 4 damage every time you cast one of the heisted spells is a lot. Especially if you steal an instant, and then you can cast it immediately. so that's pretty neat. So there's like funny, interesting things here, but other than that, it's just like Grixis instant speed flashy nonsense with not really any creatures other than the commander. No planeswalkers, no nothing. We'll see. I mean, the main idea here is just to try to swing with it. That's the first hurdle. So let's see how long that takes. Oh yeah, we also got a Cabbage pet. My opponent is fully aware of what's going on as well. It's just completely over. I like just didn't even get to play the game there. I'm gonna get this because I can just deal with this on my turn. And I will, you know. I don't see a reason to brainstorm. Still don't see a reason to brainstorm. Double black is a reason to brainstorm, I guess. I'm much more interested in trying to resolve my commander and actually swing with it, though. So, Agatha's Soul Cauldron. What? Okay. Alright, well, it's in play. We did that to some sort of avail. They did not exile their Mossborn Hydra. Wait, they went after my land. Oh, looks like we're gonna die. Light removal spell. This is a 3/3. No, we didn't. Look at that. World first Fire Lord Azula attack. Amazing. So, swing. And then I think I want to do this? I think I do want to do this. Yeah, this feels right. Let's get that out of there. And I think I'll bounce the Cauldron. They're not really incentivized to use... Oh, I guess they... Yeah, I forgot they can target my graveyard. As I say, you might as well just wait, because it's not that crazy. Could have brainstormed, could have consulted. I just want some stuff in play and also remove my opponent's entire board. Seems ideal. So, what happens if I cut that down? I don't really have to think about that. Also, I should have... Yeah, right, that was a mistake. I should have brainstormed fetched in combat. So, that happens, that happens. I'm going to hold control, I'm going to cast Brainstorm. I'm going to let one resolve. I'm going to put... Alright. Nothing too crazy here. Gonna kill this. I can let go of control. It's funny the red mana is being annoying. Does that have something to do with it? Alright, yep. I mean, like I said, if you ever actually attack with this, it is extremely crushing when you finally swing with it. Alright, well their commander makes food tokens, but that's not the main thing here. The main thing is it's just a mono green deck that probably has infinite mana. Oh look, mono green deck with infinite mana. Can't even counter their 3 mana card with my 2 mana counter spell. Oh, they don't have a land. Wow. The ultimate punish, maybe? Oh, no, they just sandbagged it. Does not go for their commander. I think I would. Seems like this is the ultimate matchup for it, because my deck has a lot of stuff. Okay, well the food tokens don't matter anymore. That wasn't very fast. Food tokens absolutely do not matter anymore. Do I even counter their commander? Do I even counter this? Why do I care about food tokens? Like, why do I care? All they do is make mana. That's it. My opponent has displayed the ability to play 2 land sources a turn since turn 1. So I don't really know what more mana does for them. They already have 6. Yeah, I'm not countering their commander. I suppose I will draw in response, though. I don't make a food token for whatever that's worth. Let's play this Yep. I feel like I'm getting my mountains every game. There's only like 3 in the deck now. A lot of mountains. Alright, well, we're in Azusa territory where you just make mana and then ask the question of what do you do with it all. That is a legendary. That is a legendary, thankfully. I'm not really interested in not playing this, because I want to actually play it for once and have it do something. Mono green seems like the best case scenario for it to get away with something. So, combat. Opponent gets a bunch of food tokens from this, but again, I don't think I care too much. Let's see if they block. Nope. So, let's do this. Get rid of, I think, Cut Down. Because, again, the 2 cards in play I don't care about. So... Okay, I found another blue source. Unfortunately, it's not in play, though. It would have been amazing to be in play. There is no reason to do anything here. I'm just going to chill. Oh, they lose the food token. That's funny. I don't think that matters, though. And pass. Right? Yep. Well, that's a very good top deck. I think they did just top deck that, too. Naturalize, exile, gain 4. Okay. Well, here's Great Henge just turning the game around, as is tradition. My graveyard doesn't matter. I think they... Did they exile it? Are they just doing everything? I don't know what's happening. Yeah, they're getting rid of my graveyard, sure. I don't think that really matters, but it is what happened. Yep. Of course, these have counters on it, so my efficient removal spell is a wash. So... Combat. Blue, black, 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 blue. Let's do Frantic. Oh, they're over it. Alright. Yeah, the Shrine deck is pretty cool. I had someone in my comments say it was the best thing ever, and it shouldn't have existed. They're like, yeah, it was a mistake to make a better Shrine commander. And I'm sitting there like, I wish Shrines were good, because that sounds really cool. I don't know what this person's talking about, and they have not replied since. I'm in no rush to cast anything. In fact, I'm in no rush to have this game continue out. I might just concede. I don't know. I don't think I can beat this, like, fundamentally. There is no resolving this and having it chill. I think it's 100% impossible. There's like 45 removal spells, maybe 40, 45-ish. If it's anything like I would have it as a commander. Why can I not bedevil? Oh, because I'm not smart. Okay. Well, I have a counter spell that my opponent definitely doesn't care about. Let's go ahead and... maybe I should have just cast my commander there. Maybe I should have just sent it. Okay, they send their commander. That seems, unusual. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, it's just a trade, because they kill mine and we just go back and forth, which... I mean, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make them kill it, obviously. That's what we came here to do. There is... I'm 1 mana off from surviving this, which is tragic. Yeah. 1 mana off. Can't do anything about it. I did not draw a land. There's no creature for them to reanimate. I'm still just killing it, obviously. I have to kill it at some point. Oh, I should have franked it. Yeah, I should have cast Frantic Search there. That was a mistake. This takes Counterspell, so I just hide the rest of my hand, because it just takes Counterspell anyways. Still no land. Could just sorcery speed. That seems kind of dumb. Alright, I'm just going to pass. Sure. No devotion. Hardly matters. Ah, really? There were 3 lands on the top? I don't even know. I guess that and that. Necromancy Shieldred doesn't do anything. They're playing into the Electrolyte. Oh, no, they're not. Don't listen to me. Sacrifice a non-token creature? Okay, I can cast it again. If I reanimate and then they steal it with their commander, I'd lose the game. Probably not a good idea. This is funny. It's a way to do stuff that doesn't involve... combat? I still don't know how I'm winning. I really don't. My opponent has nothing because their whole hand kills my commander. So, like, I don't know what I'm really doing. That's funny. This is also funny. I'd rather not. I don't want a creature involved in this game because their commander exists. Okay. Redundant removal. K command. They can't reanimate this, so I can just plus and spam it and demand that they do something about it. Oh look, they can do something about it. Well, as you can see, my commander cannot play this game. But I have a zombie. A lot of mana rocks. I'm gonna hold the fetch land still. Alright, get in there, zombie. They hit you with a 2-2. They're going the other way. Cut down. There is some things I can do about that, but nothing that would make a lot of sense to me. So, and then pass. K command. Wipe out the mana rock or something. There's no doing anything about that. Nothing that I like to do about it, so. Okay. Discard 2 damage. And then... oh, wait. If I flash this in... No, that's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, because then they can just get it back. Necromancy doesn't work here. They take Necromancy. Why would you take Necromancy? I don't get it. Alright. One of these two? This one? Yeah. So I can cast my commander, and there's only 2 cards. My whole hand is basically the same as my opponent's hand. It's not the end of the world if it dies, because I could, again, just keep doing it. They do know my whole hand, but there's no tricks anyways. No surprise here. I'm not going to tutor for a counterspell that's ridiculous. Alright, I can do that again. We're basically in top deck mode. Okay. I wonder if I am winning? Did we actually push through, like, 33 removal spells to get to this point? Skyclave Apparition. No? What did I go on top? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How do they deal with Necropotence if I deal with the final 7 cards they have? Can they get rid of this? Do I just... So there's the final pile of cards here. One of them will most assuredly kill my commander. But, like, how do they deal with Necropotence? Oh, I forgot to play the land first. I'm an idiot. So, you and you. Okay. How do you deal with the Necropotence? Okay, you need to sack a creature you control for that one. I literally have burn spells in my deck, so this is not free. That is not free at all. Okay. Sure. That gets around Necropotence, albeit slowly. Still outs in my deck. Alright. They blow up their own necropotence. Alright, so that's no longer part of the equation. Peak doesn't really matter, honestly. I draw literally nothing for the trillionth time. Can I cast this and not lose the game? Sure. It's like a 20-mana discard spell. Can I just take 8? No, Terminus is gonna just be a thing, so... How does Unearth read? Or if it would leave the battlefield. So, bounce? Alright, it does exile it. Isn't that, like, really not a good idea? Well, I guess it makes sense. When you have reprieve, it makes perfect sense. Alright. We had a window for like 4 turns to draw something like Lightning Bolt, and of course, why would we? And then we lost. Alright, there was windows to win, but again, without my commander being a part of the game, it just feels like I'm wasting my time. I don't know, yeah, I just spun randomly for it. Just keep queuing into Sparky, it'll happen eventually. Really? Nothing on turn 2 in a red-green deck like that? That's crazy. Or nothing on 1 either, actually. Interesting. That is a land. This is an artifact, right? I think I'm going to draw 2 with this. That depends what they do. Okay, I didn't expect that. Yep. Well, we came here to do this. That's what we came here to do, so... Land removal spell commander, I probably just lose, but... I don't think this continuously gets chapter tokens if I deal with it. Wait, let's calm down. Let's do this. Getting ahead of myself. So... more mana somehow? No. Let him go to blocks. Frog it up. Let combat end. And double peak. Oh, whoops, this is not double peak. We're out of combat. Don't listen to me, I don't know how to play the game. And let's go to discard. How many cards? Discard 2. You and... actually, let's keep that. Let's get rid of you and you. Alright, my opponent has endless ramp spells. Endless ramp spells. As is tradition with green. I can abrade this, but I don't care too much about it currently. I think their best bet here is to just Haro Flare. That's probably the best thing to do, but that does mean I untap with my commander. But it doesn't look like they can do anything about that anyways. Yeah, so that is in fact what you should do here. I know my green players can't help themselves. You can't tell if I'm having fun or not today? What do you mean? I'm having a great time. I'm playing Magic. When is Magic not fun? Why did they do nothing? I'm not sure. Opposition agent doesn't do anything, right? It's only tutoring, searching? I don't understand. I mean, I'm just casting the flare here. So... this heists, it specifically does not opposition agent anything. Alright, 4 cards, come on. Let me see them. Let's go. Don't you dare concede. You let me double heist. Don't you dare. Casualties. I mean, I'll get it. I can cast casualties to do something. Oh, binding is nice. And crop rotation is mana, which is actually kind of cool. Let's do that. Let's do that. That seems cool. Look at that. We did it. We did it. This forces out the opposition agent. Look at that. And then I can just counter it. No, we braid that. Yeah, we braid that. Look at that. Let's get Verge lands? I don't think it matters. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And bop them. And you know what? Let's just bribery. We're so far ahead. I'm gonna bribery. Give me the spazazz. Ugh. Well, Primeval Titan's really good. What is Lumra doing? Okay, Lumra is actually really good because there's a lot of lands in my graveyard. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. Alright. Alrighty. So they have to deal with the board, and they also have to not die to these things, and then my hand still exists, and we have Omniscience. So, that's a good start. That's a very good start, actually. None of this is trample. If they sack the original to flare, it's going to feel kind of... Well, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Alright, they're just dead. They have 4 blockers. No, you have to sack the original. Well, we have Cyclonic Rift. If I did not have Cyclonic Rift, I'm still winning rather decisively unless they consistently vomit lands into play, which at this point could just be really hard. Oh, they have a land drop. Oh, they have a land drop. Alright. So this is a way to survive. That would have done it, but I have the answer to it, so... Alright. Today has been a wall of kind of the most absurd things I've ever seen. Just back to back. Okay, not the most absurd things I've ever seen, to be fair. But today has been just a boatload of semi-crazy things. It happens sometimes. It's a card game. So you'll just get days where you don't get to do anything. Now, what I said initially about this commander having issues was... right, you can't just play this so it's just bad. When you cast it and it swings, it is really good. It's one of probably the best things to do in Grixis is have this be in the red zone. Because once it's in the red zone, you're doing a ton of very threatening and very scary things, and it never stops. Well, for the most part, it doesn't stop. But it's kind of like VV, except VV doesn't have to attack. Well, actually, now the new VV, I suppose, does kind of need to... you don't get the mana, you have to, like, tap it, so it's slightly different, but it's kind of the same. But if I ever attacked with this, I basically won the game, and if I ever didn't attack with it, I kind of always lost. I'll have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I just lost every time I did not ever swing with this. There were games where they have a counterspell, and you can just play into them over and over, but that's probably how you lose. And if you find windows to cast it, and it's killed, and those windows... Like, you cast it, and you're like, alright, I don't lose if it dies, I'll cast it. So you cast it, and it dies, inevitably. Goes to your opponent, some stuff happens, it goes back to you, and now you're like, alright, I gotta find the next window to cast it. But there's just a bunch of cards between then and that point that are not all your cards. Your opponent is still drawing cards. So, this is awful. I say with confidence, this is a terrible commander. There's a lot of commanders that have the same issue, and this is just a new one with that issue. There are a ton of commanders with this issue, and I see comments all the time that say this is crazy, or cards like this are so powerful, oh, they're so good. That doesn't mean anything because you can't cast it. You can't cast it. I guess if I'm going to play it again, it needs... Do we have Mox Amber still? Did that get banned? No, it didn't. Okay. You can play Mox, always mulligan for it, so you always have it, and then play 27 dive down effects so you can protect it. Congratulations, your Firelord Azula, you can now untap with it. But you're never going to realistically... Actually, you know what? Because of that, the ley line that gives flash, and what's the other one? Someone said some cards that I didn't... High Fae? What does that do? No, Boots does not help. What does this do? You may cast spells as though they have flash. I mean, you might as well put it in here, not because Azula likes casting sorcery speed spells at instant speed. That is a cool thing to do, but that's irrelevant. The only thing you have to worry about is swinging with this, and then you're doing crazy stuff. You don't have to turn artifacts, creatures, enchantments into instants for Firelord Azula. You just need to swing with it, and then your instants in your deck are going to get there. So, with that being said, though, that's not, the idea of these kinds of cards is not to give this more options when it swings. It's to let it swing in the first place. That's it. That's all you got to concern yourself with. So this, I suppose, in some kind of way helps you do that. But if you don't agree with that, then I wouldn't play these. They don't... Suddenly turning bribery into 2 briberies is not... That doesn't matter. I will say this card was actually kind of nice. I did actually like this card. I'm not going to lie. Another one... Actually, full stop, I'm not going to lie. I kind of forgot this existed till just now. I'm not going to lie. This should have been in here to start. This is one of those... This is kind of really the only one that kind of... The other ones with any equip cost don't let you swing immediately. I genuinely forgot this existed. I'm sorry. So maybe there were 1 or 2 games where this would have been in play when I went to cast this. That does not change the wall of removal and the wall of counterspells as I saw today. I saw an unbelievable amount of counterspell decks. It's kind of crazy. I don't think a single game got Cavernous Souls in play either. I don't think I did. Maybe Urza's. Again, we're really hyper fixated. This probably is better than like a mountain or something. We are hyper fixated on just trying to stick this and swing with it, and that is so crucial that you should start playing funny, goofy cards that just help you do that consistently. Because once you do it, you have a fairly high chance of winning. I've seen this played as a combat trick spammer, and you just play a bunch of pump spells to make it swing for 7 and give it double strike and trample and stuff, and you can, double those spells in combat. But that's like a go tall strategy without auras and equipment. It's with spells, and your opponent could just... Like, you can't replay those spells again if your commander's answered. Go tall strategies really do not like a 4-mana 4/4 with 0 ward, hexproof, or... Shroud kind of removes the go tall aspect of it, so it's mostly like hexproof and ward. Without that stuff, this is just... I kind of wish this had some kind of protection on it, especially at this point in Magic's lifespan. You'd be surprised that something like this isn't somewhat evasive. It's just not evasive at all. I think this just isn't viable in 1v1, because your opponent can always kill it. In games where my opponents were... I guess like a ramp spell, like green, where they can't interact with it, I felt like I was getting an advantage. The problem with green is it does its 6 mana plays on turn like 3, and you play this on turn 4, and they kind of sometimes just don't even care, right? Mono green is just kind of, or just green in general, not mono green, is just asking your opponent to be the one to react to everything, because you can just ignore them and then present so many threats so quickly they can't do much. I also lost to aggro, mono red aggro nonsense, which, as you can see, our deck is just full of counterspells and removal. So it's kind of surprising that not only did all the aggro decks just completely swarm me, they also answered this in ways that didn't even slow them down. Like, on top of this just never doing much, it was getting swamped by things that I feel like I have a fairly favorable matchup against. So, all in all, it was just a really bad day to be playing this. If I knew the lineup of opponents I was going to play today, I would not have played this commander. It didn't have a great time of an opponent's roster. Yeah, it's like looking at a roster of the players and the characters they're picking in like a fighting game tournament, and after you've already locked in your character and choice, you're like, oh, I just put myself in a really bad position. If we had open deck lists and I had like the sheets in front of me and I knew my opponents, like it would not be a day for this. But aside from that, it doesn't change the fact that it's extremely vulnerable, just like Tifa, just like Vivi. Tifa is 3 times, if not 4 times, as fast as this. So, and it's doing kind of the same thing. This gets to play some pretty cool cards. Like, it's really cool to play this twice. Like, it's fun. I like it. No one's going to let you do it, though. You know, no one's going to let you ever do that. Every time I did attack with this, I believe not only did I win, oh, wait. Let me think. Yeah, okay, so the games in which I attacked with it, not only did I win, I only needed to attack with it twice in those games. Or actually, sometimes even once. Some people actually, I think, even conceded when they just didn't have an answer. I played it, and they passed back to me and just concede before I showed them anything. So the mindset is there. I think actually one person conceded when I had nothing. Just like, oh, you untapped with it, I lose. It's like, I can see the logic, but you should at least make me show you the cards. Like, come on. But, yeah, so when you do the thing, you kind of win. And when you're doing the thing, you only really do it like once or twice before your opponent's dead. And then you're on to the next game where you're just trying to do the thing again. So when you're doing it, you're not doing it for long. The game is over very quickly. And that means your dopamine rushes are quite brief. They're flashing hits because you do the thing, you're having a great time for about 5 seconds. You won the game, but you got to move on to the next one because your opponent's going to die really quickly. So you don't get to do the thing when you're doing it very long. Now that's kind of, what's the word, pedantic. That's not like that doesn't fundamentally change like how the deck wins, but it's just funny that you finally do it, and then that rush of having the fire bending mana and the instancing combat flashing around is great. And then it's over as quickly as it started, which is unfortunate. So it's hard to get what you're maybe hoping for out of this commander. Before I played it today, I only saw it once, and like I said, it was a bunch of combat tricks. It did do the thing, actually. Funny enough, in that game, I did beat it. I think it's in one of my YouTube videos. I actually beat this when it was played against me. It was the only time I saw it, and it was in play, I'm pretty sure, but we had a wall of degeneracy in play, so it couldn't swing through into me. And there was no way to give it flying, I guess, and they could have spell slung like 50 removal spells. I can't quite remember what the situation was, but I don't think I interacted with this, and it was in play, and my opponent untapped with it, and it didn't get there. I can't say that ever happened with me. If I ever untapped with it, I had something to do, and that was, I think, always enough to get there, but in that one game with that one opponent, it wasn't. Now, again, the combat trick package is, in my opinion, slightly worse than the instants that are, counter spells, removal spells, burn spells, just because combat tricks, if you go all in and they kill it, you just lose. If you cast removal spells to get through and hit them, you're ahead, and you can also repeatedly answer the things they're casting and vomit like 50 spells out and draw a lot of cards too. Actually, a lot of these cards just simply draw so many that you're just not really struggling. But apart from Lightning Greaves, which should have been in here, I don't know. Oh, also, if you play the combat trick version, you probably don't like this, because then you can't target your commander anymore. It has Shroud. So, yeah, definitely should have been in here. There's other cards that give haste to all your creatures. Creatures you control. At least there's that weird enchantment that isn't Goblin War Drums, or is it Orcish War Drums? Whatever it is, I don't know what it's called. How is Mass Hysteria read? All creatures have... Okay, the text of this doesn't help me, but these effects, there's a few of them. Apparently I can't find them. They give your creatures haste, not just your opponents. And that can kind of give you that idea. But you have to play these cards. They're in the way of actually casting anything out of hand when you finally swing. So, something to think about. And, I don't know, this one's been... I actually crafted this, but I can't remember what deck it was for. I think it did more harm than good. I think it did more harm than good. But yeah, we had really a really uphill, rough showing of it. It's probably slightly better than today would make it out to be, because 75% of my opponents were 100% prepared to play against it. Like, there was games where they had exactly 2 counter spells, countered it twice, exactly the other payoff cards they needed, won the game with those exact cards. There were a lot of perfect sequences out of my opponent's Singleton 100 card format decks today that I think I just got unlucky today a little bit. I can't say I played that bad. I don't think so. There might have been some games where I was just... Once I was in combat splashing spells around, it didn't matter if I was super precise, because there's just so much value happening in combat, it doesn't matter. So that didn't really mess me up too bad. But yeah, bribery, still just, you cast it, you win. There was one game I think I just declined to cast it, because I was trying to do this. So, but hey, it wasn't cast that game. It wasn't cast, so it's still true. It was not cast. Tap lands are pretty lame. Some of these, actually, I will say, like Mystical Teachings and stuff, is cool with this commander, but not necessary. You could just play vastly cheaper spells, honestly, even counter spells, more random cantrips, just 1 and 2 mana spells that you can cast reasonably when your commander is not in play, which is 99% of the game. So you want your cards to really be useful when this is not in play, and some of these didn't feel like that was the case, like this one this one and stuff. So I don't know, something to think about there. But I mean, either way, how many instances are in here? 49, right? Like, it's, no matter how you slice it, you're gonna have a boatload of something going on in your opponent's turn. But just having end step card draw spam is kind of nice. The issue with just card draw and no Nicol Bolas Teferi Hero of Dominaria style thing, your control deck needing card advantage, and it doesn't come from the command zone, means you need a bunch of card draw in your actual deck, which take up card slots, and that's not free. So it's kind of hard. But this kind of offsets that, right? This isn't really, I wouldn't necessarily call this a control deck. It's kind of really just trying to do this thing, which, I mean, it's got a lot of control elements to it, to be fair. It's a weird one, I'll say that. And I don't know where to necessarily categorize that. But yeah, I'm not convinced playing a bunch of dive down effects makes this better. I really don't think that's the case. But I don't know. That's just the issue. I think this commander is just really bad because of that one thing. You gotta get it in play. You gotta swing with it. If you do those things, it becomes one of the best commanders in the game. It's very polarizing. But, yep. So if you have success with it in a way that does not have to do with what I've said, let me know. I'd be surprised. I'd be interested in seeing people try to have this work that plays around the issues I've been talking about for the past 10 minutes. It would be kind of neat. I don't think the combat trick one was it, and this in my opinion, is slightly better and still just not getting there. So that's that. Let me know what you thought about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.